Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 9. Government is proposing to spend $15.7 billion more in the 2020-2021 financial year, increasing its total expenditure budget to $853.7 billion. The figures are in the second supplementary estimates of expenditure, which was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark.
The proposed increases in recurrent and capital expenditure in the second supplementary estimate will be financed by the level of expected revenue over performance vis-a-vis the first supplementary estimates, as well as by a further reduction in the primary balance target from 3.5% of GDP to 3.1% of GDP.
Dr. Clark says the second supplementary estimates reflects increased spending to meet the growing demands in health, education, and social welfare due to the impact of COVID-19. $1.5 billion will be provided to the Ministry of Health and Wellness to support response measures to the pandemic. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is getting $1 billion to assist with the procurement of tablets for students in need. The COVID Allocation of Resources for Employees CARE program has also been extended to December this year. $5 billion has been set aside for the disbursement of funds, which includes $2.2 billion that was previously approved but not used. Extended components are the supporting employees with transfer of cash, set cash, and the business employee support and transfer of cash, best cash. Other elements of the CARE program, such as the back-to-school grant, are also being regularized under the second supplementary estimates. Meanwhile, preliminary data for the first 6 months of the current financial year shows that overall revenues were $8 billion, or 3% higher than budgeted in the first supplementary estimates. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the figures were, however, 18.8% lower than the corresponding 6 months of 2019. He says the preliminary data also shows that the income and profits subcomponent was ahead of budget by 8% and behind last year by approximately 5%. In addition, corporate taxation and pay-as-you-earn (PAYE) performed ahead of budget by 16%, but again 8% behind the corresponding period of 2019.
PAYE, pay-as-you-earn taxation, for the first 6 months of this financial year was actually 3% higher than PAYE for the first 6 months of last financial year. For the 6 months to September 30, preliminary figures indicate that the production and consumption taxes were also up by 7% versus the budget, but 14% lower than last year.
The Finance Minister gave the update in Parliament Tuesday. He revealed that GCT receipts on local activity and revenue from international trade taxes were both 3% lower than budgeted. The preliminary data also reveals declines in trade volumes such as customs duty, stamp duty, and GCT on imports. Further documentation of government's activities, records, and information management is to happen in 25 additional ministries, departments, and agencies. This exercise will comprise the third cohort under government's Records and Information Management (RIM) program. It will be led by the Jamaica Archives and Records Department (JARD) with support from the Cabinet Office. Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, Robert Morgan, says seamless access to information will only occur with acknowledging the importance of record creation, preservation, and maintenance.
This will now ensure that all ministries standardized across the public sector and reduce the time in which entities take to retrieve records and information for access to the public.
Minister Morgan was speaking at the recent digital launch of the Cohort 3 RIM Implementation Workshop. In 2018, Cabinet approved the implementation of the Government of Jamaica RIM policy to govern records and information management in the public sector and allow government information to be accessed in a timely manner. Tourism workers will be collaborating with the government to reinforce the adoption of COVID-19 safety protocols. Spearheaded by the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHTA, the initiative is dubbed the COVID-19 Ambassador Program. JHTA President Clifton Reeder says tourism employees will be carrying the message of mask wearing, hand washing, physical distancing, and other critical COVID-19 protocols to communities within close proximity of where they work.
We will have team members who live in communities. They're already trained, they're already certified, and they will go into the communities. They will bring their community leaders together, whether church, whether the bars, the markets, the police, and what we're going to do is to do virtual training as well.
Mr. Reeder was speaking at the official launch of the COVID-19 Ambassador Program last Friday in St. Anne. The program will roll out in Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, and Negril before it is taken across the country. And finally, Culture Minister Olivia Grange has hailed the late reggae and dub giant Bunny Striker Lee as one of the great generals of Jamaican music. Striker, whose given name is Edward O'Sullivan Lee, died on Tuesday after ailing for some time. He was 79 years old. Lee was born in 1941 in Kingston and began his career as a record plugger, sourcing tracks for radio stations. He went on to later own his own label and produce classic hits such as Eric Donaldson's Cherry O Baby, Delroy Wilson's Better Must Come, and John Holt's Stick By Me. He was also a pioneer of the United Kingdom reggae market. In a recent press release, the minister expressed heartfelt sorrow and deepest condolences to Striker's immediate and extended family and friends. She also used the opportunity to appeal to the current generation to not let the work of Lee and others of his era go in vain, urging present-day artists to learn from the music of the past and merge it with modern formats to ensure Jamaica's music lives on. Bunny Striker Lee was awarded the Order of Distinction in 2008 by the Jamaican government in recognition of his contribution to reggae music. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.